Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to an upcoming real-time strategy game called Tempest Rising. This game reminds me a lot of Command & Conquer. In some ways, it almost is a spiritual successor, though it does have an interesting sci-fi, almost StarCraft vibe to it, which is really interesting. Developed by Slipgate Ironworks and 2B Games, there is not currently a public release date for this game. Instead, what they have done is released a playable preview for the game, which means we only have one mission of the campaign available to us so we can get a taste of what this game is going to have to offer. And while two factions are presented to us, we can only choose the Global Defense Forces as our chosen faction, the Tempest Dynasty being the alternative, which is not available right now. And interestingly, according to the description of the game, there's going to be a third faction at some point. I believe the intent is for them to all be very asymmetric in their playstyle, which is really enticing to me. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started.
Good of you to join us. Gotta say, your file was a pretty impressive read.
Now, first off, I'll just say, that is some absolutely atrocious lip-syncing. Clearly not working as intended. Oh, there we go. Okay, now it's starting to catch up, thankfully. Alright, so, for this particular mission, we are going to be investigating a disturbance in Iceland. Why? Because the Tempest harvesting operations in the area have been disrupted by unknown forces, probably by the Tempest Dynasty. Now, what is Tempest and why do we care? Well, that's not totally understood at this stage. We haven't got that backstory. From what I can tell, they are some sort of biological vines that grow with extremely unusual, probably out-of-this-world properties, and it's desirable for reasons unknown. That's something I think we'll be seeking to understand as you play through the entire campaign. The important thing is, we want it and the Dynasty wants it, so we're fighting over it. Yeah, that stuff right there. Does that look like something indigenous to Earth? I don't know, maybe. I mean, apparently there was some sort of a nuclear war on Earth. That's where we're picking the story up, so maybe something weird got unleashed? No clue. We'll find out later. And here come my scouting forces. All right, let's go ahead and grab all of them, bring them up into group number 1. We are going to be using some field scouts, anti-infantry fighters with a decent range attached to them. Seems pretty good. And now we're going to start looking for some dynasty forces. And look, there's one right there. All right, well, we'll just go ahead and take him out. We have superior range, so we get the first shots off on him. He tried going prone, but okay. Didn't work out too well for him. That's not something you can control. It looks like it's just something your soldiers will kind of naturally do if they think that there's some sort of a tactical advantage. Didn't work out well for that guy either, though, I'm afraid. So sad. Oh well. Anyway, we have reinforcements that will be paradropping in momentarily right over here. There they are. And let's go ahead and attack move command, and we will try to draw their attention while we now flank them with our new units. There we go. So who are we working with now? Well, we've got ourselves some drone operators, and if we give them a second, there they go. They're launching their little drones. These are like some extra scouting units. So if we take one of these guys, for example, move him over here, I can now remotely control my drone and start moving it around this way to get some forward scouting. Whoa, okay, found him. Right. So now we know what we're going to be facing. Obviously very helpful if you want to see the high ground as well. So you can imagine the tactical advantages of something like this. Now, knowing that there are enemy trucks down here, I see some explosive barrels. I'm going to try to blow these up and go boom! Thank you, buddy. Destructible objects. Yep, that's something you can see in Tempest Rising. Kinda cool. You don't see that in a whole lot of RTSs, but I'm excited about it. And moving forward a bit here, we can see there are some enemies over in this area. That is a flame turret. Yeah, we do not want to be anywhere near that thing. It will absolutely wreck us. Let's go ahead and grab one of these drones and do some forward scouting. No, don't attack the sandbags, you silly one. Okay, there is a path down here. We probably want to take the low ground. That'll be the safest way to go. Yeah, just like this. We're sneaking right under their noses. Though I don't mind shooting a barrel to blow this little guy up. I didn't quite finish him off. Well, that's just downright disappointing. Oh, well, it's fine. Okay, hang on. Something's shooting me down. We got some sort of SAM sights. Right. Okay, so they got some anti-air. Well, we'll go ahead and blow up those barrels and say goodbye. Okay, now we have to destroy 3 more as a side objective in order to get air support. That seems fine. Here comes some reinforcements. We get some scout trucks and a medic. Oh, that's going to be great. We can see some enemy buildings over here. We've got a power plant and a silo. Don't really feel like we need to destroy these, but it's always fun to make things go boom, so we'll go ahead and do that real quick. And then let's go ahead and explore a little bit over here to the west. Looks like there's something over here, some sort of an activity. We got reinforcements on the way. Looks like some infantry running into a bit of a meat grinder. They're grenadiers. You can probably tell by the fact that they're throwing the grenades. They need some help. No problem. Let's go ahead and send in the infantry. There we go. No problem at all. They just need a little bit of medical attention and all will be well, I believe. Except I'm an idiot and I did not add my medic to my control group, so he has to run all the way. All right, well, while he's doing that, let's talk about something else. So you have a couple of resources in this game. Credits is fairly obvious, and I'm pretty sure every faction does require this. We have population, that makes sense. Also something called intel. I don't know if this is unique to our particular faction, but it is necessary to activate some special abilities. So, for example, if we take a look at my field scouts, where's one? There we go. If we have some intel and some money, we can lay down some sensor mines. I can see that being kind of useful. How do you get intel? Well, one way is we can swap our trucks over to marking rounds. So they are going to mark your projectiles, and when you kill them, you get intel. So they won't do any damage, but it's a way of farming out some extra resources. Could be useful. Ooh, what's all this stuff you can see in the background? This actually is some Tempest, this weird red vine thing. Whatever that is. Again, I'm very eager to find out exactly what is the backstory behind the Tempest and why it is worth literally starting world wars over it. Whole bunch more of this stuff over this direction. Now, from some of the gameplay previews I have seen, it does look like you would harvest this stuff using some workers of a sort, and there are these different buds, and they'll naturally regrow with resources over time, but if you over-harvest them, I'm pretty sure they're going to grow back a lot slower, so you have to be strategically harvesting this Tempest in order to maintain the growth rate. Not sure what that's going to look like in the long term, alright? This is just a very simple preview, and a lot of stuff could change in this game before it does go into full release. But it is certainly intriguing, I'll give it that. Oh, looks like we found their own harvesting operation over here. Okay, so they've got 3 of these little Tempest miners running around and harvesting these bulbs, as I was talking about. Yeah, we can't allow them to do that. Let's go ahead and take out their workers, starve them of resources, and destroy their refinery. While we're at it, it looks like they also have some sort of a radar station. I don't know if this is providing them much intel, but you'll see in a bit that this is a tech building you would use to unlock different units to train, which we're actually about to be able to move on to in just a moment. There it is. That is a mobile construction unit with which we can establish our first base. So, base building. Let's go ahead and establish the construction yard. I'll place it right over here, I guess. That should be fine. And now that this is set up, we can start building our other structures. Now, as I mentioned before, we have a few different resources here. You've got the intel, the credits, and the population. A fourth resource to worry about is your power. We're producing 20 and consuming 0 right now. If I want to construct literally anything else, I need to get myself a refinery, but that's going to take 30 power, and I don't have that. So the first thing you build is a simple power plant, and I'll go ahead and place one right over there and wait for this to complete, which should happen about as soon as this drone arrives with its package, like so. Thank you. Now we can place down that refinery. Let's go ahead and start harvesting our own Tempest. Now, the Tempest is going to be worth credits. I love, by the way, that the construction sites have porta potties in them. Wow. They know their priorities. There we go. All right, and our own harvester immediately unlocks and is going to start grabbing some of the Tempest. So our credits are going to start going up with every delivery. With that taken care of, we can now set up a quick barracks, and I would like to be able to start training up some of my own infantry. So let's go ahead and place one right here. And a simple barracks is now going to unlock the satellite uplink, which is that tech building I was talking about before. So now we'll be able to start getting some specialist units if I build that, but also some basic defenses, including some Gatling turrets, which I wouldn't mind using for some very basic static defense. Also some walls. We've got sandbags, concrete walls, and some gates. Oh, and it looks like the enemy is moving in for a probing attack of their own. Well, I've got my own Gatling turret set up, so we should be able to do a fair bit of damage. This guy has some rockets, which I don't appreciate. Goodbye, sir. All right, let's go ahead and start training up some additional units. Certainly can't hurt. And I think we'll place some sandbags in front of the Gatling guns. I don't know if this is going to give them much in the way of defense, but I imagine it helps at least a little bit. Now, the walls are a little bit weird in that you place down a wall, right? You click this, it starts building one. Then you decide where you want to place what is effectively one node of the wall, but not the rest of it. Then I have to go build another one of these, and then we can place it over here, and you can see that it is worth several units, and we can place down the rest of the walls just like that. Kind of a weird system, but, you know, again, it kind of works. Now we can start training up more grenadiers if I want to, though I am completely out of credits, which is why my progress on another power plant has been halted. So yeah, we need the harvester to do its job. Looks like we cannot get any additional riot medics, though. We've reached some sort of a specialist limit. I don't know what determines how many of those specialists you can have. Still, even having one is going to be a huge boon for me. The satellite uplink, by the way, might be unique to my faction and generates intel passively over time. So maybe that's one difference between that and the radar station for the Tempest Dynasty. I'm not sure. I did observe a very small pathing issue for a moment where it looked like my harvester was just running circles around here, not gathering anything. Not too sure how that's happened, but I was able to manually direct it to collect a bulb, and you can see it dumping it in there, which gets me some of the credits I need, which means we can now finish our building, which means everything gets powered up and we have our static defenses back. Okay. With that in mind, I say we go ahead and start making a push. Of course, we still have to contend with some of these SAM sites. I'd really prefer my trucks don't run directly into all of the melee there. Let's go ahead and take those down. Can we get in here and quickly destroy some of these barrels? There we go. All right, with that down, now our drones are going to operate. And we have the freedom to call in an airstrike because there's no more anti-air present in the vicinity. Wouldn't mind doing that. I do need 3,000 credits to do that, though. So we could either just wait for a bit, or I can just charge. Seems unwise to charge. Okay, the drone decided to charge. What do you know? No, they're fine. They gave up. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I want to do an airstrike, all right? It's kind of fun to watch, right? Oh, yep, here we go. Looks like we have that pathing issue again, like I was talking about. The harvester's just running around and doing absolutely nothing. Weird. Either that or it is gathering stuff, but it's doing so in a very non-obvious way, like gathering up trace amounts rather than ripping up any of these bulbs so it can grow faster. Not sure. Now, is it possible to train additional harvesters? Not that I'm able to see. Okay, so maybe you're stuck with one as the GDF, whereas the Tempest had like 3 or 4 miners. Not sure how that differs. I also see that there is going to be additional build tabs for vehicles and aerial units, and something called doctrines. Don't know what that means, but all right. Well, anyway, we have enough money to go ahead and launch our airstrike. Let's call it in right around here. And we should see in just a moment some birds are going to be flying in. Here they come. We got ourselves some fast-moving jets. Love it. Go get them, boys. Godspeed. And boom! All right, say goodbye to your turrets and your tanks. Charge, men, charge! Of course, they still have a few tanks remaining, which is a little bit scary, but all right, not a lot in them. Flame tanks, too. Ugh. I imagine those are extremely good against infantry. Need my medic to stay alive, but so far the medic is doing just fine and dandy. Now, one thing I don't like is that the medic actually does fight, and if you have the medic in the attacking group, well, then they'll just continue shooting rather than healing, which means this needs to be either set in a way to not be allowed to attack, or it has to be in a separate hotkey so that it runs around and, you know, doesn't get involved in a conflict. That's kind of annoying to me, but all right. Anyway, so we have found the enemy construction sites. We're going to go ahead and blow this sucker up, and if we can do that, I'm pretty sure we are going to win the level. That's the last of them, apparently, and yes, victory is mine. So that's it. That's the only preview that we get for Tempest Rising. So the only thing to do now is be treated to a specialized commercial to show off all the other features of the game. And you have to admit, it does look pretty darn intriguing. I mean, again, it gives me a lot of really strong Command and Conquer vibes, which is really exciting. But this was a fairly short preview, so with only one mission, I get a small taste of what's possible, but I have not really a great idea of how to build up a proper base or all the different types of units that are available and the moves and counter moves that I can make. Heck, I didn't even get to command a tank. I would like to be able to at least move around a tank. I don't know. A second or a third level for this preview would not have gone amiss. Nonetheless, I at least have a feel for what we can look forward to. So that's it, folks. I've got nothing else to show you. You have to admit it's a pretty promising idea for a real-time strategy game. I'm very curious what the backstory and world building is going to be, but the gameplay feels smooth and certainly familiar, tried and true classic mechanics, and the graphics are fantastic. Audio generally good, aside from the little lip-syncing issues. We won't hold that against them. So yeah, I think this is a game that if you're into this kind of genre, if you really like real-time strategy games, especially the Command & Conquer style, this is something to keep an eye on. It could be really exciting. Of course, we still don't have an announced release date, so I don't even know really what to put on your calendar, but certainly go and follow it or wishlist it on Steam if you would like, and I will have a link in the description down below. Thank you all for watching this preview video. If you did enjoy, I would certainly ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.